Hey my friends, I hope this video finds you and your families well. Today I find myself in San Francisco. I'm so lucky to travel all over the place still. I'm here talking to small businesses about branding, about communication, about approaching customers not as customers but as sort of fans and all this kind of psychology around that. But I figured here while I'm at the hotel, I also wanted to share with you today a very pretty, very simple piece of magic. Now I say simple because when I first got into magic, I got to admit I tended to do things that were complicated. There was something about the complication that spoke to my young ego, and I actually thought, when I look back now, it was providing a place for me to hide my insecurities. And now, since I've been doing this for so long, I find I'm pushing away sort of the rubble, the distractions, and really getting down to some simple magic. So right now I'm going to perform for you an extremely simple, absolutely convincing, and very pretty piece of magic. It'll take some practice, okay? But I think you're going to like it. I'm also going to announce the winners from last week's contest. I was giving away Anarchy, a very cool trick with a chord and key and a bunch of gimmicks and a bent key. Very cool. Anarchy, going to announce the winners. Also question of the week, and this week I'm going to be giving away one of my spellbound tricks, which is a really cool prediction trick involving Scrabble pieces. All right? But first, let's go into this magic moment here. Maybe you've done a card trick or two. You've removed the cards from the case. Okay? You can borrow a coin. A coin can be marked, or they can note the date. You can say, watch very carefully. It's going to happen in 3 seconds. Watch. Right here. 1, 2, 3. And then without any suspicious moves, you just pick up the case, open it up, and spill out the spectator's coin. As I said, they can note the date. This coin can be borrowed. Okay? They can assign the coin if they want, so it will be part of a larger structure. Now, there's so many little details I want to talk to you about this in just a second, and a few other methods as well that I've used in the past that I finally got to this, which is by far and away the best message, or the best method. I've used this many times when I used to do a lot of walk-around magic. This was a great way, either a first or second trick. So magical, and again, no extra action, no extra words, just pure magic that happens right in front of them on the table, 1 foot away from them. Now, before we jump into the details on this, let me talk about the question of the week. Okay, so this is going to be giving away 12 Spellbound. And this, again, like with all my stuff, you can find it at sankeymagic.com. Spellbound is a prediction trick. You can do a whole bunch of things. You can reveal a selected card as well with the specially manufactured Scrabble pieces. So, for your chance to win one of 12, leave a comment down below and tell me, since we're dealing with Scrabble pieces, what's one of your favorite words? One of your very favorite words in any language. And if you can tell me as well in the comment why it's one of your favorite words, that would be great. Leave a comment down below for your chance to win. I'll announce the winners on the next video. Okay? So, coin to card case. How elegant, how simple. I find in magic sometimes myself and other magicians I talk to, a trick can be so simple it's almost boring for us. Well, coin to card case, is that really that strong? But what I find, like I said, is over the years now I simplify my magic, push away all the distractions. When you do something like this in front of people with no extra actions, which just boom, it vanishes, boom, it appears in the case. They can look at everything, there's nothing like this. Seagulls love it. Seagulls love it as well, all right? So, first, I'm going to show you a way I used to do it. I used to use 2 coins. Years ago, I would use 2 coins. I'd have 1 coin already in the card case, okay? Have another coin. It could be borrowed if it was a quart or something I knew that was going to be a close match. Vanish it, right, like this. Show the hand empty. Then I'd come over with the other coin hidden here. Lift this up. Spill it out, okay? Spill it out. And then do a switch when handing it to the spectator. I just do a simple shuttle pass switch, give it to them, and I created this wonderful illusion of a marked coin vanishing, right? And then impossibly appearing inside the case. No gimmicks, that kind of thing. Very direct, very simple method. Then, I swear for maybe 2 years, I thought if there's any way I could get rid of one of the coins and just do it with any marked coin or any coin, that would be great, right? So what I used to do then is I'd show the coin, right, and say, look, make the coin vanish, doing a false transfer, right? Making the coin here, and apparently it's in the hand. Just a simple false transfer like this. And notice, when you're seated, there's a whole bunch, I hear I'm wearing shorts because it's so warm out, but there's a whole bunch of different techniques. Vernon did a bunch of cool stuff when you're seated, because the relaxed position, when you're standing, your relaxed hands at your sides, right? But when you're sitting, notice that at your side looks uncomfortable. This is the most relaxed here. And the hands perfectly mirror each other. There's really a lot of different kinds of things. So here, show a coin, make it vanish, relax his hand down to here, lean in, all focus is here. My only other addition to that is you wouldn't want the case here, because then the sight line for the spectator to the case is your hand is the curtain. It's in the background, so it could bring focus, which if you were going to use this technique, you'd want it over there. Okay, I want to keep this in the shot here. So you're doing this, you're slightly turned to your left, okay, not straight on. That wouldn't be good theater because the focus is here. Actually, you want to bring focus there. So you use your legs and your knees to bring attention here. The relax is way down here, then this is gone here like this. Pause a beat. You don't want to pause too long because then people start to think maybe it's in the other hand, right? So you want to do this, vanish like this. I picked this up, transfer it to this hand, open the case, okay, and now I'm holding the coin beneath. So it's underneath, transfer here, show my hand empty, go in with thumb and finger, and it's a variation on the classic pulling the card from the bottom of the case, but actually, and boy, it looks very good. It looks exactly like this coin was inside the case. And I thought that was a very good method. So the first method worked really well, and this most recent method, when I got rid of, worked really well, but then I found out it was even easier. I was able to streamline it, okay? And I want to talk to you about this sometimes I call it the pancake vanish, because I don't know, it feels like something about it over and over feels like, I don't even know why I call it that. But let's call it the pancake vanish for now. I want to talk to you about that beautiful vanish where the coin seems to vanish somewhere in the middle of the two hands. I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. And then this final version, which requires a really good classic palm, okay? And ideally you want to borrow at least a quarter, okay? And when I've done this, I'll take out my own $50, and either they can note the date, my hands are obviously empty, boom, or I've even sometimes used a sticker. Or in fancy gigs, I've got a whole bunch of $50, and I have them mark it with a marker and give them away. I've done that in a walk-around situation, very elegant. Perform the trick 10 or 15 times and give away a $50 at the end of my mini performance here and there with their marked coin. Lovely little souvenir, very memorable. We'll get to that in just a second. Let's talk about the winners. Okay, these are the 12 winners from last week's when I was giving away Anarchy, and it's spelled A-N-A-R-K-E-Y, Anarchy. Again, you can check it out at SankyMagic.com. Here are the winners. Porky Pie 6, Ivel Games, I-V-E-L Games, Clark Eugene, Mr. Magique, all one word, M-R, and then it's M-A-G-I-E-C-K, okay, Clifford Borowitz, B-O-R-O-Witz, W-I-C-Z, Peter Gray, James Dorward, Seth Barry, or Barre, B-A-R-R-E-R-E, Eoin, I think it's pronounced Ian, but it's maybe it's Irish or Scottish. E-O-I-N, beautiful, I love that. Ian Cleary, Raghav Zutshi, Raghav Zutshi, Steve Carvo, and finally Aaron Corbett. Okay, Aaron Corbett, U12-1. Congratulations. Contact my team as always. Send an email to contact@SankyMagic.com. Say, hey, I just won one of Jay's Anarchies. Give them your real name, your YouTube name, if they're different, your shipping address, and they will send it right out. And again, congratulations, and thank you so much for playing. All right, let's jump into here. I think I can put away that now. Okay, so this for me is such a pretty vanish. Okay, you can time it on 3 like I did. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then have it vanish. Boom. Really, really pretty. Or you can put the emphasis in this hand. So what I'm doing here is I'm just taking the coin, okay, and pushing it up. I'm just wondering about the bright light here. I don't want to have it burn on camera. But I'm taking the coin and let's do this just to be safe. And I'm turning the hand, I'm pushing it directly from the 2 fingers up into classic palm. Now, You need a good classic palm for this. If it's a little soft, it's a little tricky, it's not going to work. Also, you can try with a nickel or dime. A quarter I can do, but anything that your hand's going to get too cramped, and when you pick up the case, it's going to drop. Okay, but this is so pretty. Okay, so note the action though. This is important. It's going up. Okay, turning the hand over boldly and taking it. So I'm doing this, taking the coin into thumb and finger, taking the coin, thumb and finger, but I'm emphasizing rather than doing it deliberately in both directions, okay? I'm actually emphasizing going up into the left fingers. That's my focus, is up in there. And I'll do that for two reasons. First, even though I want to make it look like it vanished between the fingers, I want the main focus to be on the left hand where the coin is not at the end. The other reason I'm doing that is I want to cover, and this is the real work, this action of pushing the coin up into the hand. It is not an invisible action, okay? If I were to show you, here's the coin, and squeeze, and open a hand now, notice under the cover of a fist you can cover it, but if you're not going to put your hand into a fist explicitly, then it can be suspicious looking, right? Especially in contrast to this. If I go 1, 2, and make a fist like this, whenever I do that, it makes people so suspicious. It'll even set off the backwards beeping from a truck. So, I'm here. I'm going to go 1 and really pushing it up. 2, really pushing up. And then when I take it a third time, so it's, there it goes. Here I'm palming it as I go up. So it's as the hand turns over, I'm going to go and I'm pushing it into palm there, going up, okay? 1, 2, 3. And you don't stop there. This is what's really nice about this. In theater, it can be very powerful to have a moment, boom, single powerful moment like that. But I've also talked about with you guys about stretching moments. And this is really interesting psychologically, because if on 3 you do it, but then you continue at the fingertips, when exactly did it vanish? Now, you can do it. It's going into classic palm, now going up, and then come away, do a little wiggle with this hand still closed or like this, and have it vanish like that, putting even more focus on the left hand, okay? Or you can share it. And notice that I make sure at the end here, after it vanishes at the fingertips, that I don't open this hand, then that hand. I don't open this hand, then that hand. I open both hands at the same time, okay? And even maybe a little bit of a gesture down here. They don't know. I mean, if you say to them, I'm going to make it vanish and appear in the card case, too much heat. Whereas if I go, watch, I'm going to show you something crazy, whatever. 1, 2 on 3, 3, just like this. I've broken the coin down, and it's going to fall through the air. Boom. Hands dropped aside into the card case, like this. Now, the key here is if you go too quickly, okay, if you go too quickly, they're going to be suspicious, you're going to ruin the effect. If you go too slowly at this point, people are going to start to wonder about the hand. Now, I don't know if the audio is going to pick up in here, but this final elegant solution I just came up with, so simple. It's one of these tricks that I'm sure was invented in the 1400s by some Russian dove worker, right? And then again in the 1500s by a guy who just did dice stacking. In Australia, though in Australia, when you stack dice and open the cup, the numbers are always the other way. Should have worked on that before I tried. Just sort of thought of it. Anyway, so here we're doing this. We do the vanish, which is great. Don't want to do that. Now, I come down. There's no readjustment. Now, if you want, if you're starting to, here's a tip for the working pros. If you're starting to feel this coin slip, as you put it into place right there, you can always do this gesture here, then both hands do that to emphasize. And when both hands do this to emphasize, my fingertips are going against it, pushing that sucker in real tight while I do the same thing here, then open both hands. So you have an opportunity to readjust for just a second. But in the end, you want to make sure you have a absolutely perfect classic palm picking up the case. Now, you don't want to hold it here, it's too far. You don't want to hold it here, you're too far from the lip, from the opening. You don't want to hold it here because you're concealing. It's about in the middle. And then just let gravity be your secret assistant, nothing else. Because you open this up, and when you tip, it's going to fall directly from classic palm onto the case. It's going to make a really lovely, I don't know if you can hear it here. Okay, makes a little bit, they can hear, and it sounds exactly like it's spilling out, but it's actually hitting on top of the case. And you do this, and it looks to all the world, let me show you again. looks to all the world that you're just tipping that case and that coin is falling out, either into your hand ideally or onto the table. So it's just tipping. Watch again. Now if you want, rather than tipping flat parallel, you can tip the case slightly this way. So I'm not directly against the odds. These little details are what I always add these details into my videos because I know a lot of my subscribers take magic seriously. They just don't want some silly little quick moment of magic they can just toss up on Instagram or whatever. They want to know the details. So that's why I'm doing that here. You can tilt it, not completely, just slightly up and angled, and you still get a slide, but you can obscure if you're concerned. But I never worry about them noticing it's just, I'm tipping here, it hits, it falls, no gimmicks, no duplicate coins, and anytime I want, I can have a coin and even have it marked, like I said, vanish, we're using that, vanish, and appear inside the case. So this is an example of the way, and I've talked to a lot of experienced magicians, and we all have this similar experience of a simplification of our magic, of our techniques over the years. Really frees me up. You know, the late great Daryl Martinez talked about a performance of sleight of hand. It can be at its best like jazz. There's an improvisational moment to it. You can only improvise if your relationship, if the props are all open concept, if you're not having to worry too much about a particularly finicky gimmick, if you can go into this and go into that, and coin magic can be a beautiful example of that. So thank you so much for watching today. Do not forget to leave a comment. I want you to have a chance to win Spellbound. Okay? Leave a comment down below. Tell me what's one of your favorite words in any language, and tell me what you like about it so much. I'm going to finish by telling you my favorite word here. It's kind of a weird word. It's a weird word, but I love the spelling. I love the meaning of it. It's strange. Fecund. I know it sounds kind of rude. It is a little rude. F-E-C-U-N-D, I think it is. Fecund. Smelly. But not just like stinky, but I think like mushrooms in a box could be fecund, or I think a pile of manure could be fecund. Anything that has a pungent smell about it can be called fecund. It's a little bit more about me than anybody really wanted to know, I know.